Well, hey, this is Josh Nelson with the Seven Figure Agency, and on today's episode of the Seven Figure Agency podcast, super excited to be interviewing Brian Stearman from Lawncare Marketing Mechanic. He's had a meteoric rise, I think, in his digital marketing agency, and so I'm super excited just to kind of interview him on what he's done, how he's done it, and hopefully inspire you to do the same within your digital marketing agency to really get the success that you're after and move things forward. So, Brian, welcome to the show. So glad to have you.
Thanks for having me.
So let's start. Just tell us a little bit about your digital marketing agency, like number of clients, years in business, all of that kind of fun stuff.
So we started in March of 2017 after taking your online class. Currently, we have about 60 clients. So about a year and a half.
That's awesome.
Something like that.
So 60 clients, approximately how much recurring revenue?
We're at about a little short of $700,000 a year right now in recurring revenue.
That's phenomenal.
So
congratulations.
Yeah.
So just give us like a little bit of your background, because you're not the typical digital marketing guy. Can you kind of tell us the?
So I actually started out as a police officer, and out of kind of necessity, I started a lawn care business. Ran that for a while, got really interested in marketing that business, doing my own website, doing pay-per-click, that kind of stuff, and really just started searching out ways to do that for other lawn care companies as opposed to going out there and actually mowing yards. So that's kind of what led me to, I kind of found you through other classes and things like that, and took that class. Actually ended up coming here to the offices in Miami, and that was really the change. I mean, so I took the course and did some of the work. I won't say that I did it all, but certainly did some of it. Started doing some positioning work, got a client that I could use as a case study, those types of things. And then once I came here to the office, kind of saw the scale of this, how you guys were doing things, that was really the change. And so that when I left here, I was supercharged and just went after it.
That's awesome. So you got to get down to Miami for one of our power days. Thanks,
yes.
Thanks for saying. I'm glad that it had such a big impact on the acceleration of your growth. So, let's just talk about the progression of the agency. So about a year and a half, already 60 plus clients. Tell us about the progression over that period. And even though this is a rapid progression, not everybody gets to that level that quick.
So I was. In the first few months, it was, one customer, two customers, that kind of stuff. It was slow, but it was just me doing the work, doing the sales, doing the marketing, doing everything. And really basically getting those few customers, getting them results, getting the work done, and then them having those examples to share with future, with other calls, other marketing leads, that type of stuff, being able to show them those websites, show them results, show them what we've done for other customers, how much revenue we've been able to bring to those businesses. That was really what moved us forward. And then, we had in the winter months, which is our busy time, 10, 12 clients in 1 month adding on. So
that's amazing.
That was kind of how we grew. It really boiled down to getting results for a few clients first, and then having those results to show, and that made the sale so much easier.
Absolutely, yeah. So that was kind of the change point. Talk to us about how you chose the niche. I guess for you it's kind of easy because you're already in it, but
Well, and what was funny was I took the course and I was trying to come up with something that I wanted to do for a niche, and I was like, I came here, sat down with you and Dean and everyone else that was here, and I remember Dean saying, I don't know if I'd choose the lawn care marketing. That's a seasonal service, that type of stuff. And he's right, it is seasonal and that type of thing. I think really what it is qualifying the customers to make sure that you're getting the right type of customer that can afford to pay you to provide service year round. Mm-hmm. So you're not going after the one-man show that's out there mowing grass and answering calls on nights and weekends and that kind of stuff, and trying to collect checks underneath doormats. You're looking for professional companies that really have a business established. So I mean, reality was I was looking for customers in that $250,000 to $500,000 a year range.
Okay.
As far as revenue goes.
All right. And that's a critical insight. Something you guys should all pay attention to, regardless of your niche, right? You could look at plumbing, you could look at lawn care, you could look at almost any niche and be like, that's a terrible niche. These guys don't have money. They're not going to pay you for these types of services. And depending on who you're working with, you're probably right. But if you choose the right clients, right, client selection really is the critical factor between success and failure in any niche. Right. He's looking 250 to you said 250 to 500,000.
About 500,000, and I mean, it's great if you can find someone bigger than that in that market. In my industry, that 500,000 mark is typically, a decent sized business. Mm-hmm. We have clients that are over $1 million, but they're few and far between in that industry.
Absolutely. So great insight. Chucking a truck, one-man operation, you're going to beat yourself into the ground and want to just throw in the towel. But if you've got quality operations that have been in business, that understand how things work, right? They spend money in advertising, they know how to track the return, they know how to close the business. Those kinds of companies exist in just about every niche.
Right.
And so you want to specialize in those types of companies. So thank you for that. That was a great insight. So just kind of talk us a little bit, like what is it that you do for your clients? What types of services do you provide?
So we're full service. So we build a website. Really the first thing we do is build a website. Then we do some citation management, SEO type services. Then we do pay-per-click management. And then we also kind of help them manage their Facebook ad campaigns. In my industry, my guys are not technical at all. So they require a lot of direction. And a lot of times it's just teaching them how to present their business, getting in front of a camera, taking the camera with you, making sure that it's held the right way, that you're using the right type of settings on your camera, and just how to promote their business. So we kind of help them with that. We're leaning towards doing more of what you're doing with camera days and that kind of stuff. So just really trying to start position ourselves for that. But that's really the bulk of our business.
Okay.
This next year we'll be doing some one-off websites as a add-on type service for some of those smaller guys that we can hopefully develop into long-term clients from an SEO standpoint in the future.
All right. So they're basically buying website, SEO, and a little bit of paid search management?
Right.
Okay. Excellent. And it's always, other than what you're doing there, it's usually they're paying you a monthly recurring fee.
Yeah, so up till next month when we go to a conference, we've never offered one-off websites. Okay. So we've turned them down, and if it wasn't recurring revenue, we weren't interested, and we've just kind of positioned ourselves as far as labor goes. We have some capacity to build more websites, and so we're going to take that opportunity and start building some.
Awesome. So I'm going to encourage you guys, if you're not at least $50,000 a month in recurring revenue, don't sell one-offs. It's going to be a distraction. It's going to prevent you from really getting scale and growth. Brian has my blessing at $750,000 a year. He's got some excess capacity. It makes sense. You should be focused on all monthly recurring revenue. I think you'd probably agree with that.
I totally agree with it. I'm glad. We took on some clients in the very beginning that we shouldn't have, that were that one-man type thing, and people that were interested in those lower dollar services that weren't recurring revenue, and they were a complete distraction. You'd spend double the amount of time working with them than you would if you had just gotten the recurring revenue client that you would normally try to sell. Yeah. Because you're changing everything to try to facilitate what they want done.
Yeah. Believe it or not, it takes exactly as much energy to sell a $1,000 a month retainer client as it takes to sell a $1,000 one-time website client.
Yep.
And the amount of work you do for that website,
it's the same.
It's a ton of work where you could get $1,000 per month into perpetuity.
Yep.
Selling them not just the website, but selling them the SEO and the paid search management and everything else.
Exactly.
Awesome. So let's talk about the packaging. We talked a little bit about this from a packaging perspective. It's all in.
Right. It's all in. So we, like I said, we're going to go to a conference. We're going to offer a few things that we've never done before. So we're going to obviously offer our full service package, which is really where we're kind of trying to steer everyone. We're going to offer one-off websites, and then we're going to offer one-off pay-per-click management. Okay. Honestly, the pay-per-click management thing, from a revenue standpoint isn't much different than the full package. You know, because it's I'm not willing to use someone else's website. I'm not using someone else's landing pages. We're going to have a lot of work to do with them. So they're still recurring revenue clients. It's just they're basically not getting the SEO.
Got it. Makes sense. So this is interesting, and everybody wants, everyone likes to hear about I got 60 clients and this is what I'm doing today. But the hardest part really is your first handful of clients.
Right.
Your first 3, 4, 5 clients. So let's just talk about how did you get those first 5 clients and that first like $5,000 in monthly recurring.
So I actually went out to Facebook and found groups that were in the industry that I chose. So basically I just went for Facebook groups that had a bunch of lawn mowing guys in it. And I just started answering questions about SEO and building websites and things like that. And when they expressed an interest in having a website built, I would message them on Facebook, that type of thing. And then really I kind of connected with a CRM that uses that a lot of lawn care companies use. And by getting into that group, I was able to get really all my clients these days come from that. At least they may not find me that way, but most of them are involved in that group in some way. Excellent. Just because it's such a predominant CRM in that industry.
Awesome. So I mean, really cool insight here. Probably not what you were expecting to hear. Got into a Facebook group of people within his niche, started adding value and answering questions, and just PM'd people basically after they got value from you.
Right, not spammy. Right. So not
hey, need help with your website? Hey, I made a sample site for you. Go check this out.
Exactly. Yeah. So it was answer questions, give advice, made sure that the name and what I did for a living on Facebook matched.
Was congruent.
Right. So it wasn't, I own a lawn care company, because at the time I did. And, so it was, I own a Lawncare Marketing Mechanic, and this is what I do, and that type of stuff. So making sure that was all in place before I ever went out there and did it. So when someone looked at me after commenting, they knew what I did and knew how to contact me.
Yeah. So your persona on Facebook, on LinkedIn matters, right? So, if you're going to go after your niche, lawn care in his case, he's got Lawncare Marketing Mechanic. He's branded that way on Facebook, on LinkedIn probably. So when he answers these questions, they're like, oh man, that was useful. They follow back to the profile. He's got a banner that's probably, did your banner talk about that at that point?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
And it was all very congruent.
Right. Yeah, so it was actually your, I don't even know if you still use it, the little checklist.
Uh-huh.
Yep. So it was a CTA for that.
Beautiful.
So they click on that and we'd send them that and get their email. So
fantastic. So that's a great strategy. Maybe some of you guys aren't even thinking about. Think about your niche. Go find the groups that those people in that niche are hanging out in, and start adding value. Don't expect to get clients right out of the gates. How long did you have to do this before?
It took a little while. I mean, I got really lucky. I knew a guy that I had talked to in the past. Basically, my case study was someone that I had a relationship with in the past that I had helped from a business standpoint, from lawn mowing to lawn mowing company.
Okay.
And so I was able to just kind of reach out to him, and it was more of a, hey, look, I need someone other than my website to use, and if you'll be my cheerleader, I'm going to give you a heck of a deal.
Nice.
And which is awesome, because it's been a couple of years now since I've started working with him, and he went from a little over $300,000 a year. He's at $1.2 million last year.
Wow.
So huge.
Powerful.
Yeah. I mean, so I love using him as a case study, because you're talking about $700,000, $800,000 a year in revenue that we were able to give to him, and he did absolutely no other marketing than what we did for him.
That's fantastic.
He's a great case study for us.
Yep.
And and that helped us a lot.
Yeah. So that's another critical insight when it comes to this. Choose the niche, go out, position yourself, add value. And then one of the number one levers that's going to move you from your first client to your 12th, 15th, 60th client is to crush it for at least one of the first handful of clients.
Right. Especially who you're giving out.
Like crush it. Make sure that client gets ranked on page 1, gets great results. That way they'll be your mouthpiece, right? They're your proof. You can say that you're great and you know how to get clients ranked and you can get them results, but when you can actually point to, look, this is the client, one of the clients I did this for. This is the result. Go ahead and talk to them. your sales resistance drops to the floor,
Right.
and that's when you get accelerated growth. So there's some great nuggets you're sharing here. Thank you very much. So, let's talk a little bit about how you generate clients now. Like, what's the flow? Like, where does the lion's share of the business come from?
So most of it is referrals.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah, so that and that same group. So that CRM that I work with, that is, those are really my ideal clients, because people that are paying for a CRM, that are paying to be involved in those types of things, have the money to afford marketing. So they're not, no one that has a CRM is out there mowing grass day in and day out by themselves and a helper.
Right.
They have a team, they have an office staff. So that's kind of what works best for me. I honestly, we keep getting so many more clients. Our biggest issue as a business is really just keeping up with process and getting the work done. So we haven't focused a lot on sales. I've been, as you know, I've been positioning myself from a staffing standpoint to be in a better position for next year, so I can really focus on sales and marketing and really try to grow this thing. Next year sometime we'll reach $1 million, and then just go from there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So critical insight, something that you guys can tap into is this whole concept of the CRM in the industry. In plumbing and HVAC, there are two category killers, they call them, like the ones that almost everybody uses. It's Service Titan and House Call Pro. In his industry, you don't have to say it, but there's a software that everybody uses, and that's the main platform they use for marketing automation, for dispatching their guys, for billing their customers. They literally run their businesses out of these systems. And I can guarantee you there's one in your niche, or probably a handful in your niche. And these guys that are using these systems, that are paying premium dollar for access to these types of tools, tend to be progressive, business owners. And if you can crack into that industry or into that CRM group and be at their events, get into their closed groups, the little Facebook groups, it can become an infinity group that generates business for you on a very ongoing basis.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely. And there's several in our industry. I just chose one because it's top of the line.
It's the premier.
It's the high end one.
And so, like, you speak at their events and you exhibit, or is it mostly
so just exhibit?
Okay.
I do have some speaking engagements set up for next year. This year we have. I'll do some roundtables and dinners and things like that, but no, not on stage for the big one. I just didn't get there in time. But they were able to get me a booth at the back of the room. I'm the only marketing company there, so it'll be good.
Nice.
Yeah, so there's about 500 attendees.
We're not talking about him having one JV that's plugging him into hundreds of customers. We're not talking about a $10,000 a month advertising budget.
No.
We're talking about, into a very good niche where he's well positioned, into the Facebook group, adding value, getting kind of into that affinity group, not speaking, but just hanging out, having the booth at the back.
Right.
And then getting on average, would you say like 5 to 8 new clients per month?
Yeah, so our peak months, 10, 12, slower months, 4 to 6, somewhere in there.
Phenomenal.
And it's been a crazy ride actually, but yeah, it's been really good to go to those events and just really meet. Like when I go here in a few weeks to the conference, there'll be, I think 35 of my clients will be there.
Wow.
So, you take them all to dinner and that kind of stuff, and have that FaceTime.
Yep.
Without having to go to 35 different cities. So.
And the word spreads.
Oh yeah. Right? Well, you got 35 cheerleaders there at the conference for you. They're all, provided you're taking care of your customers, they're gonna start talking about what you're doing for them, especially with you being there.
No doubt. Powerful stuff. So let's talk a little bit about fulfillment, right? So you got all these clients now. You've had this rapid growth. You said somewhere like 8, 10, 12 clients in a single month. Not a massive team. How do you get all this work done for the clients and do it so well that everybody's happy and they're getting good results?
Right. Yeah. So a lot of work, a lot of time and a lot of work.
Yeah.
So I've tried people here in the United States, people where I live, people overseas, and honestly today, my team is a mixture of all of that. So I have hired people in the town that I live in, which is very small. And then I have other people that live throughout the United States that kind of work, they do work full time. And then I also have some people that are overseas that do develop, website development, that kind of stuff, some coding stuff, that type of thing. So that, the whole team, that's part of, really as far as where I'm at in my business, growing my business, that is our biggest struggle at the moment.
Yep.
Is, how do we systematize everything? And that's kind of what we're doing. I talked to you about teamwork and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So we're in the process of kind of, we had all these spreadsheets and documents and different, emails and just 15 different ways of making sure everything got done. And so we're putting it all together in teamwork, and if my recommendation would be is start out that way. Yeah. So if you can document your process, that was part of the training that I didn't follow.
Try first and then worry about that stuff after.
Right, yeah. I should have kind of, the first customer, I should have kind of documented the process and had it all set up in teamwork. I mean, I know it's an expense, but I sure regret it. But yeah, I mean, having that process, I think will make it a lot easier to keep on track for each customer, because obviously today with the number of customers we have, there are things that fall between the cracks. I mean, we miss things. So it's getting organized and making sure you have your stuff together is important.
Yeah, no doubt. So it's not easy for anybody. I think one of the key things he did, that I think is actually smart, and he's saying now, I wish you hadn't. Focus on getting the clients, right? If you don't have clients, you can have the best systems in the world, you can have the best team in the world, but you don't have any revenue and there's no way to keep things going. So go out, get the clients, and then build the systems in the process. So you're going to get all of that stuff fleshed out.
Yeah, and really the first few, I mean, it took a few to actually even get a process figured out. What you were really going to do.
Yeah.
What in theory on paper when you haven't done it yet isn't what actually happens in real life.
It changes, right?
Yeah.
Right. No doubt about that. So useful, really powerful stuff. Everybody's influenced by something, right? So what has influenced you in terms of books, trainings, organizations to help kind of get you the success that you had?
Yeah, so I mean, I was kind of chasing that, wanted to do something other than have employees and work for a living type, actual at least physical labor. And so I started looking at different things, and really, I didn't know what that was at first. I thought I was going to be a Facebook trainer or something like that, and I was going to be like some Facebook guru.
Nice.
And so I ended up taking a bunch of classes on Facebook from all kinds of different celebrities, I guess, if you will, that Facebook training people, and I found the Fletcher method, I believe, was a program that I was in, and that's where I saw you.
Okay.
So that's kind of that's where I found you.
Oh, nice.
And then and I realized, and I didn't realize you had, and you may not have had it at the time, the 7-figure agency set up, but I saw the plumbing and HVAC SEO, and I was like, man, that's something that I'm interested in. And that was kind of, started looking at you and what you were doing, started looking at some other companies that did the same type of thing in different niches and that kind of stuff, and really decided, hey, that's something I can get excited about and get interested in, and I would enjoy that, working with a bunch of different companies and helping them grow.
Nice. And
that was really the draw. I mean, it's fun. It's, I enjoy the business part of it, but the most rewarding thing is when your customers call you and tell you, hey, I got, I'm up $200,000 this year.
That's awesome.
Those are the calls you love, and that's really what keeps me energized about it. Is just so much impact you can have by running your business. It takes care of you and your family and your employees' families, but it also is helping other people and their families and all their employees as well.
What would you say to that digital marketing agency owner that's just getting started or just kind of at that break-even point? What would you say in order to kind of encourage them or help them along? What nuggets of wisdom would you share?
I mean, stay focused. I mean, that's, it's easy to get distracted by all the different trainings available out there, all the different influencers out there. I mean, I kind of, after the Fletcher thing, and I found the 7-figure agency, which I didn't make it in the first batch. I think it was the second, because I didn't know about it. But I really just, I went through Facebook and I removed all these pages that all these things that I was following, all these people that I was following, and really just went on an information diet.
Nice.
And said, okay, I'm going to do this one thing, and just he's been successful. This is kind of what I want to do. I'm just going to follow this and see where it takes me, as opposed to. I just had too many people. I was trying to listen to 10 different people on what to do, and I think that's what most people kind of get wrapped into.
Yeah.
Is they just get. There's too many influences, and you're following 10 different methods of trying to get the stuff done. And if you just follow someone that's had success, if you just emulate what they do, you should be able to generate similar results.
Beautiful. Couldn't have said it better myself. That was awesome. This was a great interview, Brian. Thank you so much for sharing.
You bet.
I think the nuggets have been profound. I think congratulations on your growth and your success. Super exciting. The funny part is you're just getting started. If you think about it, you're just shy of $1 million, and you haven't even really opened up all of the different marketing avenues that are available or built your team. So I can only imagine where you'll be 3 to 5 years from now.
Yeah, scary to think about.
So hopefully you guys got great value from this episode. I loved it. I thought it was awesome. If you want to learn more about how to build your digital marketing agency, learn from guys like Brian and myself, go to sevenfigureagency.com. There we've got a training series, a little mini series that walks you through how we were able to build our digital marketing agency, focusing on the plumbing and HVAC space to 7 figures, made the Inc. 5000 list the last 3 years in a row, and the model that Brian and Alan, some of the other guys are following and working, you can find it all there at sevenfigureagency.com. So thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you guys again soon.